Hello everybody, this video will cover topic 1-1 vocabulary, which we covered on 8/26/2015. It was a Wednesday. Okay, so here we go. The community property of addition. You can add numbers in any order and the output will be the same. So pretty much, if you have, my pen ready, if you have 3 plus 8, dang it. If you have 3 plus 8, same thing as saying 8 plus 3. So we're going to use a lot of letters this year. So let's use some letters for this property. If you have A plus B, same thing as saying B plus A. Now the commutative property of multiplication. You can multiply numbers in any order and the output will be the same. So pretty much the same thing as the previous property, but with multiplication. So let's say you have 5 times 7. That's going to equal the same thing as 7 times 5. And using letters, A times B is the same thing as B times A. Or I guess instead of letters, I should say variables. Next, the associative property of addition. When you add, you can group numbers together in any combination and the output will be the same. So let's say we have 3 plus 8 grouped together and you want to add 4 to that. It's the same thing as saying 3 plus grouped together 8 plus 4. Same thing. The right side you added 8 plus 4 first, the left side you added 3 plus 8 first. So using variables, if you have A plus B grouped and then add C, same thing as adding A to the group of B plus C. Next, the associative property of multiplication. When you multiply, you can group numbers together in any combination and the output will be the same. So pretty much the same thing as the previous property, just with multiplication. So let's see. Okay. So let's say we have 5 times 7 grouped together, and you want to multiply 2 to that. That's the same thing as saying 5 times 7 times 2. All right. And then using letters, group together A times B, and then multiply C. And then same thing as saying A times B times C. Now the addition property of equality. These next 4 properties deal with the same major idea, that whatever you do to one side of an equal sign, you must do the same exact thing to the other side of the equal sign in order for the equation to be equivalent to each other, to be the same equation. Okay, so let's start. Addition property of equality. If x equals y, then x plus c equals y plus c. So what we know that x, dang it, we know that x equals y. And let's go ahead and say that x and y both equal 2. So 2 equals 2. But we need to add a term to both sides, which is c. And let's say that c equals 3. So to both sides, we're going to go ahead and add 3. So 2 plus 3 equals 2 plus 3. And 2 plus 3 is 5, so 5 equals 5. So we just proved that whatever you add to one side, you add to the other, and the equations are equal. Now, the subtraction property of equality. Same idea, but instead with subtraction. We know that x equals y. So let's go ahead and say that they're both equal to 4. So 4 equals 4. X and y are 4. Now, let's go ahead and say that our term c is equal to 1. And this time we're going to subtract from both sides. So let's go ahead and take 4 and subtract 1 equals 4 and subtract 1. 4 minus 1 is 3. There we go. Same thing. Now for the multiplication property of equality. We already know that x will equal y. So if x equals y, then x times c equals y times c. So we know x equals y. Let's go ahead and say that x and y both equal 5, so 5 equals 5. And our term that we're multiplying by, c, is equal to 2. So let's go ahead and multiply 2 to both sides of the equation. So we'll have 5 times 2 equals 5 times 2, and 5 times 2 is 10. So 10 equals 10, and there's your multiplication property of equality. Same thing on both sides. Now the division property of equality. Let's go ahead and show, dang it. Same thing as before, but we divide this time. So if x equals y, then x divided by c equals y divided by c. So we know that x equals y. So, so x equals y, and let's go ahead and say that x and y both equal 8. So we'll have 8 equals 8. And our dividing term c is going to be equal to 4. So the dividing property of equality, let's divide both sides by c, which is 4. So we'll have 8 divided by 4 equals 8 divided by 4. And so 8 divided by 4 is 2. So 2 equals 2. Done. Now, combining like terms. Pretty much add or subtract terms that have the same variable and same exponent. So, just for clarification, let's say we have 7x. Dang it. Let's say we have 7x squared. This number in front is the coefficient. This letter is the variable. And this number is the exponent. As long as the variable and the exponent are the same, you can add them together. So let's have an example. Let's say we have x plus 2x. We need to make sure the variable, which are the x's, and the exponents, which are 1, are the same. So we have x to the 1, x to the 1 power. They're both the same, so we can now add them. But the number in front of this first x, we don't know. But since it's blank, we can assume it's always going to be 1, since there's no number in front. So now we can add them. 1x plus 2x is going to be equal to 3x. So that's one example. Let's go ahead and do a second one. So we have 4y squared minus 6y minus 7y squared. We need to add like terms. We need to see which of the 3 terms have the same variable and same exponent, which are the first and last term. So go ahead and box those. 4y squared and negative 7y squared have the same term, so we can add them. So 4 minus 7 is going to be negative 3. So you'll have negative 3y squared, and we didn't mess with the negative 6y, so just put that afterwards, and that is your solution to that example. Now, the distributive property, my favorite one. You multiply each term inside the parentheses with the term outside of the parentheses, and then add or subtract the terms. So here's some examples. Let's say we have 2 times on the inside 4x minus 3. So again, the definition says multiply each term on the inside with the term that's on the outside. So on the outside we have a 2. So take this 2 and draw some arrows to both terms on the inside. We call that double rainbow. So 2 times 4x is 8x. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. And there's your example. That's it. That's all we did. We just multiplied the 2 to the inside terms. Second example, let's say that we have negative 7 on the outside, and we have 2 plus 3x. Alright, so all we do, we take the negative 7 that's on the outside and multiply it to the inside. So negative 7 times 2 is negative 14. Negative 7 times 3x is negative 21x. And that's the solution. That's it. Now, apply. Pretty much you use the knowledge or information to solve a word problem. Okay, you apply anything you know about math to a word problem to solve it. And that's what apply is. So let's go ahead and read a word problem. You have a part-time job and work for 3 hours on Friday and 6 hours on Saturday. In addition, you receive an allowance of $20 a week and make $92 per week. How much do you earn per hour at your part-time job? So you first ask yourself, ask yourself, what are we trying to solve for? And we're trying to solve for how much money we make per hour. So the variable, let's go ahead and say, is h for hour. H for money per hour. And now we need to make the equation with our variable h. So looking at our paragraph, we need to find the terms. And the first term will be the 3 hours on Friday. So we're going to go ahead and say 3h. And then we worked 6 hours on Saturday, so we're going to add 6h. Third, your parents gave you $20 that week, so you're going to add 20. And lastly, in total, you made $92 that week, so it's going to all equal 92. And now we solve for h. So we first add our like terms, which are the h's, 3h plus 6h. 3 plus 6 is 9, so we're going to have 9h plus 20 equals 92. All right, and after that, let's go ahead and isolate our variable, which is h. So we need to circle the 9h term and get rid of anything that's next to it, which is this plus 20. The inverse operation of plus 20 is minus 20. So we're going to go ahead and subtract 20 from both sides using the subtraction property of equality. So minus 20 from both sides. So 20 minus 20 adds to 0. So just put a big old 0 there. And we have 9h left. 92 minus 20 is going to be 72 because 2 minus 0 is 2. 9 minus 2 is 7. Lastly, we have 9 times h. The inverse operation of multiplying is dividing. So we need to divide both sides by 9. 9 divided by 9 becomes 1. And then 72 divided by 9 is 8. So our answer will be 1 hour equals $8. And that's it. That's vocabulary for topic 1-1.